Shame on you. Just look what you've done. You should be ashamed of yourself. Shame was designed to be a tool that would help us modify our behavior so that we could stay in alignment with our highest good. Instead, it's been reworked and now it is used as a way to manipulate and belittle others. So, what can we use to motivate ourselves and help us stay in alignment? Welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer, and it is my deepest honor to present to you an understanding of what shame can and cannot do for you and the concept of grace, because I think that too often we get hung up on ways and why we should be feeling bad and what we have done wrong, and we forget that we are blessed beings that just need to open our hearts and align with the divine in order to live lives that feel purposeful and full of love, full of joy, full of peace. So let's begin today by understanding what do we mean when we are talking about the word shame. So often I find that these words have been modified and changed in their meaning and become very negative when they were supposed to be ways in which we could correct. And correction from the divine is always loving. Correction from the ego can be quite cruel and even manipulative. So, before we can decide whether something has value or whether we should discard it completely, we need to really understand what it is. And to do that, let's begin with a definition. This is just from the dictionary. I think it was Merriam Webster. And it says shame is a painful feeling of humiliation or distress caused by the consciousness of wrong or foolish behavior. Now, in the beginning, you look at this and you say, oh, it's humiliating. But then you understand that part of being able to change your behavior is being aware that what you are doing is not okay. So, shame says you will feel badly about this thing that you are consciously aware of doing so that you can make a purposeful change to a direction that does feel good. That would be the divine interpretation. The ego has a whole nother plan in store for you. The ego says, shame on you. What did you think you were doing? Oh, you should be so ashamed. And this is where we get really confused and let go of opportunities that would be powerful learning tools. And instead, we attach onto the humiliation, the ridicule, feeling belittled, and we start to shut down. And from that place of being shut down, you miss out on the fabulous growth that comes when we learn. So let's not throw shame in the garbage can. Let's just assign it a proper value. You are not bad because you made a mistake. You can look at that mistake and say, oh, hey, this is not going the way I wanted it to, or that is not what I intended, and then make corrections. You don't have to wallow in that place of shame and feel badly. Use the feeling to motivate yourself to make a positive change. So that means you would acknowledge it, but not absorb it. You don't stay stuck in there. Don't let the ego run you ragged and belittle you with thoughts of, oh, now I'm not good enough. So, shame isn't the problem. Sometimes we need to feel some shame, not belittle, just, uh-oh, that was not right, so that we can move into the space where we feel compassion or we feel enough motivation to change. Shame, used as a way to belittle, ridicule, or humiliate, is always when we are tapping into the ego and looking for ego approval. Now, ego approval may also be what society says is right. Let's imagine that you are living in Germany at the time that Hitler comes to power. You may believe fervently that Jewish people and disabled people and anyone else that got on the radar of Hitler's radar are perfectly wonderful human beings. And you would never think that this needs to happen. However, if you are not a conscious thinker, if you are just going along with what society is saying is okay, you may fall under that hypnotic spell, that sort of mind control that Hitler used to convince people that there was something wrong with a person who didn't meet that Aryan standard that he had set. If you had a dose of shame working for you, you might be able to say, oh, wait a minute, what am I thinking? These are just people. This is not okay. I must do whatever I can do to support the growth and the love and the opportunity for joy and not give in to the hatred, the fear, the desperation, or any of the other things that must have been combining to allow you to operate in that way. You cannot be in your right mind. And for me, your right mind is when you are in alignment with the divine, walking in love, joy, and peace. You cannot be in your right mind and create or be complicit in horrible crimes, especially hate crimes. So, society and often religion, organized religion, are power groups that have understood that shame can be a weapon. And they have weaponized shame to make you feel that belittlement or ridicule. Instead of allowing it to be in this high place of, uh-oh, I feel really badly that I am doing this, so I need to change because I'm stepping out of alignment. They are pushing you down into a place where you don't feel empowered any longer. And all you are able to align with is your feeling of humiliation, which there is no place to grow from humiliation if that's all you feel. You're not going to escape humiliation by finding more things to be shameful about. You can only step free or break free from humiliation and shame if you find and focus on the parts of you that are okay. There is always going to be a part of you that is still loving, kind, beautiful, and walking in joy. That is your soul's essence. It cannot be taken from you, it can merely be constricted. So if you're looking to escape shame, you cannot look for more reasons why you need to be ashamed. You must remember that was just a little knock on the head to tell me I don't want to do that. That didn't indicate who I am. It just said that behavior or that decision isn't a good one. Change it. So then, when you get that little awareness, it's time to celebrate. Wow, I'm really proud of myself. Instead of continuing to do this thing that wasn't feeling good, I'm immediately changing to look for the thing that feels better. We must celebrate every victory, no matter how small, if we are going to make positive progress. If you keep insisting that you're going to move forward by pushing yourself further into the darkness, it's going to be a very long journey. So, if you are or have been belittled by any part of society, including religious groups, this is not them speaking with divine alignment. They are just as confused as you are, and they are using this way of thinking to grab power or control. So, why would an organization or a society need control? Well, it it gives them, those people in power, a reasonable living. It allows them to be in a position of authority where they get to tell others what they should or should not do. And if you are not an enlightened leader, you are going to lead people in the direction of the good that feels good to you, but not to the good that is good for all. So, society does need laws and order in order to grow, but it should be for the good of all and not just for the exaltation of a few. If we are putting our leaders on pedestals and pretending that they have something more fabulous than everyone else, we are confused about, again, what is divine alignment. Divine alignment is when you see the beauty within all, when you see the unity within all, when you are able to extend love to all. So, misuse of control is going to lead to greed, to power, to manipulation. And always with that, even though it may not look like it is apparent, there will be an element of low self-esteem. You also would be out of alignment. But if you felt good about you, if you felt really like, wow, I am so proud of myself and so honored to be in this place where I get to help lift others up, you would feel no need to be shaming others into submission. So, whenever you see an abundance of greed or power that may be just benefiting one person or manipulation, it's an indicator that the person has low self esteem. And this is a person or a group that is actually pretty easy to move beyond if you are holding the power, the empowerment of alignment, because you are going to be gathering to you more and more people that you are uplifting. You are going to be creating a movement of love, and that love is much more powerful than a wounded ego that is unstable. Because when you are in alignment and moving forth with love, you have a groundswell of power that is moving with you. There is no weakness within you because you are aligned with the source of all. So let's remember the example that was set for us by Jesus, by Buddha, by Muhammad. It was always alignment with the divine and love, putting forth the greatest good, asking you to take personal responsibility for where you are. And then from that place of personal responsibility, you would be loving first yourself, and then from your overflow, loving and assisting others. Jesus, Muhammad, and Buddha did not lead in a way that said, well, I must deny myself. They understood the fullness that they were and allowed that to continue by holding on to their alignment. And then they gave from that overflow because they were aligned with the fountain that never ran dry. They had connected fully to Source. They were a walking embodiment of this unconditional love and acceptance, and it just kept flowing. So they allowed themselves to be filled, and from that overflow, they ministered to all others. This is where religion often separates ways. Religion will say service and sacrifice are the way to God. Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad say the way to God is through your heart, an open, loving heart that, yes, wants to serve from a place of fullness. So, religion wants to keep you in that impoverished state. Somehow they have latched on to the belief that this makes you more acceptable to God. But those fabulous leaders that showed us the way showed us that we lead best from a place of fullness, not a place of shame where we have been humiliated, from a place of grace. And we'll look at what grace is in just a moment. First, we want to take a look at how much we can accomplish in the good. If we are operating from a place of shame, it will then follow that we will want to manipulate others or try to continue to shame and humiliate and ridicule others because we have to prop ourselves up artificially. If we are leading from our point of connection, we are so filled already with unconditional love and acceptance that we cannot imagine the needing to belittle another. We want to lift them up so they can experience what we are experiencing. So make sure that you are walking forward in your truth and not from a place of teaching that might have meant well, but really didn't understand. So, what impact does shame have on our bodies? I think it's very important that, especially as we are moving through these energies, and I've noticed that the last couple of days, the energy has gotten increasingly discouraging and heavy. What impact is that feeling of heaviness, discouragement, shame having on our bodies? You might want to say, oh, well, if I just uh, don't engage, then it won't do anything to me. We have to remember that all of us, especially our children, are vulnerable to what is going on in society. So if we stick our heads in the sand and pretend that nothing is happening, you actually make yourself more vulnerable. This does not mean you get on a 24-hour news cycle and you start consuming news in great quantities. No, instead, you are aware. People are hurting, people are sad, people are fearful, people are having a difficult time. You don't take that in. You say to yourself instead, what can I do? The thing that you can always do is go within and connect with your divine source. And from that place of connection, send blessings out into the world. Be a beacon of blessing. Send love. Whether you interact physically with the people or not doesn't matter. This is what you can do each and every time, and you will be very effective. It's up to the people to receive it, but there will be enough people receiving that you can lift the vibration. Now, what happens to your body if you pretend that there is no dark energy around, or you just let yourself kind of be consumed with shame, or you live in an environment that kind of operates on shame? What happens to you? Well, you're going to weaken your immune system. Part of the physical being is you have to feel vital. You have to have a sense of the life force flowing through you if your body is going to have the energy to remain healthy. Now, the body wants to stay healthy, but you must do your part. So, if you are cowering in shame, you are eliminating or cutting yourself off from that life force that is flowing to you through the divine. So, if you are feeling that the society is heavy or feeling shameful for whatever reason, acknowledge it, release the shame to the divine, and fill yourself so that you are flowing with life. And that is what you send out into the world. You send out, yes, you can, instead of being part of the problem which says, no, you can't. So, see yourself as weak and undeserving, and you will begin operating in that diseased place. Disease is just dis-ease, out of harmony. And this can be physically and emotionally. It can lead to suicide and self harm. If you don't feel there is a reason for you to contribute, you will find ways to hurt yourself or end this life journey. You may believe yourself to be unworthy and see yourself as less than. If you see yourself as less than, again, you're going to be unable to fill and then really be of service by honoring others with your gifts. So let go of these artificial measures that society is putting on you that are making you feel shameful. In a minute, I'm going to tell you what you can do if you truly have done something that is shameful. But I want to make sure that you are letting go of the artificial way in which society tries to manipulate you by making you feel that you're not enough. You don't want to hold on to shame because it will cut you off from your support systems. It's going to open the way for antisocial behavior. We have had a lot of mass shootings here in the US, and I guarantee you that when any of these people have been interviewed, none of them said, I love and accept myself. I feel good about myself. I'm really proud of my accomplishments. They have all said, the world is evil. I am evil. I need to destroy. They are completely out of touch with love. They have allowed themselves to be humiliated, shamed, ridiculed, belittled into a place of hatred. And hatred will eat you alive. So now, before we move on to grace, let's look at the value that shame can have in learning what's appropriate. Because we're never going to move into a society, and we don't want to. We're never going to move into a society where the life journey is without challenge. The whole purpose of agreeing to a life journey is to grow and expand, and we do that best through challenge, through having things that do feel good, things that are appropriate, things that don't feel good, and things that are not appropriate. And we learned that mostly through trial and error. And that means there will be periods in your life where you will feel very ashamed of your behavior. It's okay. If you knew better, you would have done better. Now that you know better, you will do better as long as you are not placing yourself in that space where shame has gotten a hold of you through the ego. It's like you're a cat and shame has got you by the nape of the neck and it's shaking you. Don't let that happen. Stay in your place of grace, stay in your place of alignment. Just recognize uh-oh, that was really not a good thing to say or do. So, the divine is using shame because your actions or thoughts were inappropriate. So the divine says, oh, time for a change. Society says, you're shameful. You deserve to feel bad, and you've done bad things. You should feel ashamed. The divine is offering you growth. Society is offering you stagnation. Say no, thank you. Growth is why you are here, and it requires learning what you should be doing and what it's really is not appropriate. So we need to recognize that we're always going to have contrast if we're ever going to grow. So without teaching, without the teaching of shame, we would also be stagnant. We would be unable to grow. With the understanding that change happens and that it's okay to feel badly, to modify your behavior and to make better decisions, you start that growth, you start that evolving. And let us remember, we don't all need to learn every single thing. One person teaches others through their example. So instead of being really ashamed of yourself when you make a mistake, just think of the service that you are offering to humanity. You have saved thousands of other people from making the same mistake you did. So now that leads us right into grace. And what is grace? Well, again, according to the dictionary, it is unmerited divine assistance given to humans for their regeneration, which is spiritual renewal, or sanctification, which is growing in divine grace. Now, I'm going to take exception to that definition because my personal relationship with the divine tells me there is never a time when the love I receive from God is unmerited. Because I am a child of the divine, I have agreed, just as all of you have, we have agreed that we are going to go on this journey of growth. We are stepping into a challenge, and we deserve to be loved for the courage that we are showing by agreeing to come on this journey. The divine are so proud of you. They are delighted, even when you make a mistake, that you are learning. They don't see your mistakes as shameful or bad or worthy of belittling. They see them as opportunities for you to grow, opportunities for the society to grow. So, grace is active assistance that is deserved just because you're a child of the divine and you have agreed to this physical journey, which in itself is quite difficult. Oh, I'm reading my notes. I really took exception to that unmerited. God's assistance. And if God has shown me anything throughout my studies and my years of hearing them, walking with them, talking with them, and aligning with them, it is their greatest joy is to see you grow, and they love to help. The divine are complete, and they have already decided that all they are going to be in their completion is unconditional love and acceptance. That means there's no room for judgment or criticism, and they are going to bless all all of the time. This means the blessings are never ending. So it's not necessary for you to become something. It is necessary for you to allow something. When you step into grace, You are allowing yourself to receive the blessings that are pouring freely to you. All you are saying is, I honor myself by allowing myself to receive this beautiful gift. God has already judged you and found you to be worthy. They are pouring blessings out upon you continuously. Now you must open your heart and allow so that you can go further on your journey. Society will tell you that you are not worthy of those blessings, that you are really inadequate, and you must do something to prove that you are worthy before you can receive divine blessings. Please don't fall for that. Please walk in alignment with the divine. Please just open your heart and say, show me the way. I want to be more than I am in this moment. Please lead me toward that. And know that no matter where you are, what you have done, where you come from, how old you are, what your gender may be, or any other thing that you've brought with you into this life, you will be seen as worthy. Worthy of receiving blessings, worthy of growing, worthy of stepping into alignment and staying in that place where life is filled with joy. From the divine viewpoint, all are worthy. Shame or feeling bad is just to teach you what not to do. And grace is the experience received after opening your heart to the divine. Shame is merely a what not to do tool to the divine. Grace is restoring you to a state of honor. If we make a mistake, there will be a brief period where we feel, ooh, really bad. And that might indicate that you're out of alignment. The minute you let go of that and learn from that, you step immediately back into the place of grace. You step into the place where love is flowing freely. All beings have and are capable of aligning with love. There is no one, not even Hitler, who I mentioned before, was incapable of aligning with the divine. Hitler chose not to. Hitler chose to be consumed by his ego and his confusion and his probably mental illness, and he allowed that to lead him instead of his alignment. However, if at any time he had changed his mind, he would have still been welcomed into that place. The divine want you to rise. They don't have any ego. They don't need to be bigger than you. They are always going to be bigger than you. They want you to rise. They want you to grow. They want you to experience joy. Grace is the optimal state of being for every being because it is the place where alignment with the divine completely connects with the pursuit of your highest good. And let's remember that highest good for you does not mean harm for another person. That would be the ego. That would be the competitive way. Highest good for you means that as you rise, others will have the opportunity to rise as well. If you walk in grace, and that is your life, you will live by love. You will be seeking the greatest the greatest good for all. You will seek unity and cooperation instead of needing to compete. It doesn't mean that you are going to be good at everything. It means you allow everyone to have something of value that they are bringing to the table instead of just saying, I have all the money or all the power or all the intelligence, and all of you are worthless. You say, bring your gift to the table and let us see what we can create together. What societal changes would we see if we started to work through this channel of grace instead of through the humiliation that society calls shame? If we just let go of the need to belittle and to hinder and to hurt, what would we see? Well, first, we would see a safety net of basic needs met for all. There would not be this competition of, I think I need 12 houses in order to feel safe or worthy or to show the world how magnificent I am. You may instead say, I have one house for myself. Perhaps I have a vacation house. And then all of that extra money that I was going to spend making sure that I had more houses than anyone, I'm going to start buying up properties and turning them into places for people to live so that everyone can have a home. We would also see a big change in our ability to overcome fear. We would no longer be ruled by the, what if something bad is going to happen? Instead, we would be so certain in our faith, in our belief that we are more than enough and that there is more than enough to go around, that we would start seeing an absence of that fear and really start operating from that grace-based way of thinking. We would become empowered individuals and we would have more high functioning individuals. This means less abuse of drugs and alcohol, more productivity. If we are feeling good, if we are living in houses and know we're going to have food and clothing, we are more likely to want to contribute to keeping that good in place. We would also see a better quality of life for all. Instead of needing to beat your brother, you may say, hey, how can I help you today? What can I do to make your life better? My life is amazing. I'd like yours to feel just as good. And that would give us all a better quality of life. If we join together under the umbrella of grace, instead of I need to wipe out everybody that doesn't think like me, then we would be able to create a common good for many. So we see a lot of factions right now. We see a lot of political groups. We see a lot of hate groups. We see a lot of unrest. We are not going to be able to counter that with more hate or more ramming it down their throats. Oh, you need to think like me. Offer love. Be that beacon of blessing. Go to the person that is so obviously just consumed with fear that they have turned it into hate and ask them, what can I do to support you in feeling better? Yes, Jeff, we do need to see the lion lay down with the lamb. We get confused sometimes because society is very loud and it appears that it is a lion. But we need to be that lamb that is so safe and so secure because we know we are motivated by love that the lion just falls asleep and we all rest peacefully together, then rising together to support each other. So, what personal changes can you expect if you begin living your life from this position of, I am a being walking in grace as opposed to I am a being that is shameful and walking with my head down because it's too embarrassing to be me. Well, again, that better physical function. You're going to have more life force running through you. You'll be able to be thinking clearly. Your emotional state will balance out. You will be a walking love letter of everything that's right, and every part of your physical body will respond. Physical will have less disease, mental will have less stress, and emotional, less confusion, less I hope so, and more I know so. Be the being that can look adversity in the face and say, I am more than enough. I know there is a way forward. Remember, we came on a physical journey not to go to sleep and accomplish nothing. We came to grow, we came to expand, and that means changing, not staying in that tight little bud, but allowing ourselves to flower. Now, let's look as we improve by living in a state of grace. Let's look how we affect society positively. First of all, that better immune system that you have means less wear and tear on our medical system, less cost to the whole healthcare infrastructure. We're also more productive, which means we have more goods and services in society. More goods and services in society means more jobs. More productivity means we are constantly churning that income. We are making our economy really work hard because goods are going out, dollars are being exchanged, or some form of money is being exchanged, and person gets to rise up. More goods go out, more money comes back. Each person rises through this cycle of less disease, better functioning throughout your entire physiology, and more of you being able to give something that will benefit all. It is really helping us step in to a state of comprehensive benefit rather than, well, the owner of the hospital is doing well because everybody has to go to the hospital, but the doctors and the nurses are exhausted because they're overworked. Now we would see that everyone is concentrating on keeping their body well as opposed to getting back to a state of okay after a bout of illness. We would also have much healthier children. Children are the most vulnerable in our society to societal stress because they feel they can't do anything to make a change. So they're going to feel the weight perhaps more deeply than we will because they are more open. When society is healthier, our children are healthier, and that means we bring fresh new ideas into our world and innovation that will continue to make positive change and create a really fabulous world that we're all going to share together. There's another way that we can look at grace. If you feel that grace is perhaps too much of a religious term for you, think of grace instead as harmony, and harmony as balance. And balance is the ideal state. We must be in that place where we fully are awake and aware of all that we are capable of and of all of the ways that we can serve after we have served ourselves first and really open ourselves up to love. So, what would a life of grace look like? This is grace, it becomes harmony, which becomes balance. Well, first of all, You're going to have that greater alignment, which automatically offers you a better quality of life. If you stop looking at what's wrong and start looking around at everything that's right, you automatically attract more that is right. And when you are in alignment, you automatically get steered into those synchronistic happenings that make life so special. You have an absence of negative influence. You're guided by love. You face challenges, but you face them knowing I'm more than enough. I got this. I can do it. And then it would be the release of your personal limitations. There is no way that you can fully be in that state of balance and hold on to, oh, I'm not enough for this, even if you had to recognize, I'll use myself. I am not tall. So I need to recognize that pro basketball is probably not in my future. But I can balance that by understanding that I do have many wonderful things that can give me the same kind of joy that I thought I was going to receive by being a pro basketball player. So we're not going to be everything, but there will be balance. If you can't be one thing, there will be something that you can do that is in alignment with you, that is going to make you feel even better because it's for you, not for someone else. So you're going to release those personal limitations, and you'll be able to try harder from inspiration instead of desperation. If we are hanging on to this thing that we cannot be, it creates desperation. If we are excited about how much more we can be because we are in alignment with us, we rise easily. You will be also feel as though you are seen and heard, that you have value. One of the things that I find and hear most in society is people are feeling they are not seen or heard, that they have no value. No one sees them as important. This is something that will change almost overnight when you start stepping into alignment, because the divine do not need to rest. They don't need to tell you about something that's important to them or make you feel like you have no value. They are invested in you. And it is going to help you step out from under the cloud of negativity. You are in that space of joy. Even when you are in the midst of a challenge, you will be more inclined to feel joy welling up. Even with the frustration, you will still be like, well, I'm a joyful being just having a moment of frustration, instead of I'm a frustrated being looking for a moment of joy. And you will purposely do more right. When we feel shameful, when we feel belittled or ridiculed, we start holding that in our energetic field. And instead of just using it as a tool, it becomes our attractor beam. When you are joyful, when you are in alignment, you hold that in your energetic field and you begin attracting more reasons to feel good. Now, I mentioned earlier that I really feel just in the last couple of days that the energy is really, really heavy. And I came back from an errand that I was running and I thought, whew, I'm glad to be back in my space. And then I heard the divine say to me, what did you learn? And I realized I can choose. Everybody around me can be in a bad mood. The whole world can be looking at what's wrong. And I can choose to see what's right and be a beacon of light and offer that light to others. You are not under the thumb of society. You get to choose. You are a conscious being of incredible intelligence. You get to choose. So, how can you step out from under the societal shame and into God's grace in a way that is easy and will make it just want it will make you want to just do this over and over again? Well, the first thing you're going to do is stop belittling yourself. Let's say I weigh 400 pounds and I want to lose weight. If I look in the mirror and immediately start shaming myself, I'm probably going to go eat a box of donuts out of the reaction to the belittling that I gave myself. So, right there, stop the shame. Instead, find anything that you can honor or like about yourself and focus on that. Grow that. Be in the space of what is right instead of the space of what's wrong. What's right puts you about here to start your race. What's wrong puts you below sea level. Don't make it so difficult. Instead, say, I see this is what's right, even if it has nothing to do with your weight loss journey. What's right? Oh, I have a pretty smile, or I'm a nice friend. Okay, that's your starting place. If you say, oh, I weigh so much, I'm ugly, it's going to take me so long. You are starting so far behind the start line that you're going to have to run 16 races just to catch up with the people that started at the starting line. Don't make it so hard. Stop that belittling. Allow mistakes to be learning tools and not dead end avenues. So you're overweight. Okay, it is what it is. Would you like to change that? Does that feel good to you? Great. Change that by taking your mind off of that. Just step away. Instead, think about what you do well. Because when you're focused on what you do well, you will also lose weight well. You have to do everything well if you're focused on well, because that's what your mind is attached to. That's what you're connecting with. That's what's in your energetic resonance. That's what opportunities are coming to you. Don't go where you're not, go where you are and thrive. Now, once you say, okay, I need to lose weight, I'm a really good friend. Now, stay in that place of I'm a good friend. That's good about me. I like that about me. I can get on board with that and be open to guidance, knowing that the divine will never ridicule you. It is not divine guidance if you are hearing such a fat cow. You really think you're going to lose weight? That is ego interference. Divine guidance would say, oh, I'm so proud of you for making this empowered choice. Let's make it easy by showing you all of the wonderful things that you can be holding in your mind about yourself. Very big difference, and it absolutely changes the game. Then you got to call on angelic support. We have angelic helpers for everything. Don't try to do it by yourself. It is extremely difficult. It's like trying to be a one man band. You might get to a point where you're okay, but if you had a whole orchestra, the sound would be so much more incredibly rich. Live a rich life. Call on your angelic support. And then be willing to change. You can't stay in that negative mind and expect that you're going to get somewhere that you really desire to be. Be open to the change, But don't fear the change. The only reason that you would have to fear change is if you are trying to walk with the ego. If you are walking with the ego will tell you, good luck, you're never getting there from here. You are worthless, just pack it in. That would be the ego, and then you're right to fear that change. It will be difficult. If you are looking to transform with divine assistance, then you recognize, oh, I already have everything I need within. I just need to open to it. I need to understand more of this power that is already within me so I can make use of it. And that power will make the change easy. Not effortless, but easy. Evan says, I had to do training at work. So upset. Oh, don't worry. You got to replay. That's the beautiful thing about these recorded things. But we're glad you're here. So now, let's really get down to it. Here's an example of what happens. Let's say I did something very shameful. I'm trying to think of something. I don't really have a good example, but let's just say I did something really shameful and I am like holding my head. Whoo, man, I can't believe I did that. That was so awful. I really feel like I've hurt this person's feelings or I've done something that I can never recover from. Let's just really go all out there. You have done something, not somebody else. This is you. We have no control over the other people. We only have control over us. So, you have done something that you consider to be shameful. What's the first thing that you should do? This is a quiz, but there are no wrong answers because I'm going to help you. The first thing you should not do is get out the whip and start telling yourself how awful you are. Yes, you must acknowledge that something has gone wrong, but that doesn't mean 10 hours of haranguing, untold conversations with all of your friends, and beating yourself to a bloody pulp. Guess what? It happened. You're not going to be able to undo that. So don't keep going in that direction. Instead, you're going to have to repair. So the thing happened, go in this direction. And you really acted badly. Okay. Whew, man, I really made a mistake. You cannot keep going down mistake road and somehow get to right avenue. So first thing we got to do is get off mistake road. And this can be quite challenging. Those of you who are part of my membership community have a tool for this. It is really powerful. So, get yourself off of mistake. What was it? Mistake avenue so you can get onto right road. That means turn around. You can't do any more in this direction. Once the mistake happens, all you can do over here is say, whoopsie, that was really bad. I made a mistake. Now, come right back to your center point and ask yourself, what should I have done instead? What outcome was I hoping to achieve? What would have been better? Just take a moment in understanding how you got over here. Oh, I thought, let's pretend that you wanted to buy. I'm getting the color red for some reason. They're not very helpful at this moment. Something about red, like stop. But okay, let's say you did something with the color red, and I am clueless as to what they keep showing me a red shirt. Oh, okay. Thank you, angels. Let's say you are going to the home of someone who is of another culture, and the color red is offensive in that culture, and you had no awareness of this. So you want to make a good impression, and you bring out your best red shirt, and you show up at the door, and everyone is like, and you don't have any idea what you've done wrong. And perhaps the friend that invited you takes you aside and says, you didn't know. Red is taboo in our culture. It has a very negative connotation. Well, you can run into that house and say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. And all the while you're wearing this red shirt and you're just making things worse. Or you can say, I am so sorry. Please let me make amends. You need to go back to your center, back to your home, change your shirt. Decide what you would have done, what would have been a better choice. And then you go back and say, please accept my apology. I didn't understand, didn't mean to, or wasn't thinking, whatever is truthful. And then you have to come back home again, home to your heart, and let it go. You cannot look at your red shirt. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Can't believe I did that. Oh, I'm so stupid. That just carries the energy of shame. You wore the red shirt. You didn't understand. You offended people who invited you for dinner. You can't do anything about it except apologize, come home, change your shirt. That's your decision of what you should have done better. Offer your apology or amend, showing them in your new shirt that you did not mean to cause offense, but then you must let it go. If you don't let it go, you have committed yourself to walking in shame and you have cut yourself off from the grace, the harmony, the balance that would happen if you were in alignment. So that's all you have to do. You acknowledge the problem, you decide what what you should have done, you make whatever amends you can make, but most importantly, oh my God, that fourth step is let it go. If you are holding on to it, you cannot make any progress. And you will be inviting other shameful opportunities to your doorstep so that you can continue to be out of alignment and feel bad. It is so simple, but don't let the simplicity fool you because this is spiritual maturity at its best. If you can identify what you did wrong, then decide what it would have been better, make amends, and let it go. You are guru level. Don't be upset if you don't get it the first time. Just keep trying. Do what you can with what you have from where you are. Don't sit there saying, well, if I were a billionaire, I would buy them all new wardrobes to make up for my wardrobe faux pas. And you have $5 in your bank account. This is not realistic, not going to help. It's just a way to make yourself continue to feel shameful. You've got to do what you can do with what you have and be sincere in your offering, sincere to them and sincere to yourself in your forgiveness of your ignorance. And let's be realistic. Most of these events come out of ignorance, even when you do them deliberately. I don't imagine that if you knew you were going to hurt somebody, that you would continue with the action, unless you are so lost and wrapped up in hate that you get something that you believe is worthy out of humiliating others. If so, you have a mental illness and you need some serious help. So we're not going to imitate those who are sick. We're going to imitate those that are well. Jesus, Mohammed, Buddha, those who led us forward into ways in which we can walk in grace. So now let's take a look, because we always have a helper. Let's take a look at that angelic being that is going to help us. You want to always be the orchestra, not because you can play all the instruments, but because you want fullness, richness in your life. So you play your part and invite your angelic community of helpers to do their part. What should be, Evan is saying, what should be done if the person or persons do not feel we're being genuine and sincere with the apology? If you are being sincere and you know that, there's nothing more that you can do. You are in charge of you. You may say to the person, I am sorry that you feel that way. There's nothing more I can do than offer you my sincere apology. Please consider forgiving me. Then you got to walk away. You can beat that drum until you wear right through the skin. It's not going to change if the person just wants to be resistant. You stand firm in your truth, which is, I am offering my sincerest apology. I am making the amends in the way that I feel is most honoring to you. You, other person, if you don't feel that's honoring, I am sorry. There is nothing more I can do. Oh, and I got to look at my time. Okay. So we got a few more minutes, which is just enough time to share with you our fabulous helper. Please learn to rely on the support team. The divine is your overall blanket of success. They're the cheerleading squad. They want you to succeed so badly. And they have all of the wisdom. But it is sometimes difficult for us to really interact with their breath. That's why they have individual instruments in their symphony that can play the note that will help you the most. That's what the angels do. The angels, ascended masters, all the beings in the energetic realm who are working to help you are just giving you their greatest strength. So call on them. Today, it's Archangel Zadkiel. Archangel Zadkiel's name is the righteousness of God. This is be in right standing with God. You do that through the heart by allowing yourself to receive and letting go of all the foolish ego manipulation that got you mixed up in the first place. You just go as your pure soul self. Here I am, God. I am open. Show me the way. That is right standing with God. Archangel Zadkiel is the angel of mercy. What is mercy? A divine favor or blessing. What do the divine give to all of us 24/7? A divine favor or blessing. Archangel Zadkiel is saying to you, God wants you to have this. Please accept. Please ask them for their help. They are so excited to see you succeed, but they will not interfere. So you must say, here I am. Help me. I'm so grateful for your help. Show me the way. I am a wonderful student. I am willing to learn. Help me on my journey of transformation. What will Archangel Zadkiel do for you on your journey? Well, he's going to help you approach God for a blessing. In case you're feeling unworthy, Archangel Zadkiel will help reassure you that you are more than enough wherever you are, even if you are below sea level because of your poor view of yourself. Archangel Zadkiel will help you open to that blessing. Even when you've done something wrong, Archangel Zadkiel will show you the path so that you can get back into the stream, the flow of blessings. He will help you replace your negative feelings with faith and compassion. It is so important that what is wrong is replaced quickly with faith and compassion for yourself and all others. That puts you in the energy of what's right. And what's right is where all the power is. Archangel Zadkiel will also help you heal painful memories and forgive as you have been forgiven. God doesn't hold grudges. You do. Society does. The ego does. Let it go. Be as God is and let go of all of those ways in which you think you are not up to snuff. Be in balance. Allow shame to guide you to the place where you understand that that is not a good idea. It will guide you back into your state of grace, which is balance, which is your greatest opportunity to succeed for yourself and all others. So I got to go. But before I do, I want to invite you all to join me. You can join our Patreon membership community, and you will have access to all of the tools and techniques that the angels share with me. You can just join us on Facebook, which is a free community, but make sure that you join our mailing list because that will give you an immediate download of 11 ways you may be resisting angelic support. And we, myself, and all of the angelic community want to see you win. So thanks for being here, everyone. I have enjoyed myself. Thank you, Evan. That was a great topic. And as always, if anyone has another topic they would like to share, send me an email, put it in the comments. Let me know so that I can go to the angels and get information for the benefit of all. Thanks so much, everyone.